Welcome to this Functional Skills Level 1 English training video. This video contains information and guidance on Criterion 25. Write consistently and accurately in complex sentences, using paragraphs where appropriate. At Level 1, and by the end of this session, you should be able to understand the difference between simple, compound, and complex sentences. Use complex sentences consistently. And use paragraphs accurately. Let's start with simple sentences. A simple sentence has one main idea. It includes a subject and a verb. The subject or noun is who or what the sentence is about. The verb is the action the subject is doing. Here are some examples of simple sentences. The subjects are in red and the verbs are in blue. The cat jumped. Some people spoke loudly. Many residents attended the event. In the sentence, the cat jumped. The cat is the subject and jumped is the verb. Let's move on to compound sentences. A compound sentence has two main ideas, or independent clauses, joined by a coordinating conjunction. For example, in the sentence, the dog barked and the cat jumped. There are two parts, or clauses. The first clause is the dog barked, and the second clause is the cat jumped. Both clauses make sense on their own. However, they become a compound sentence when they are joined together using and, which is a coordinating conjunction. You can use coordinating conjunctions, like the ones shown on screen, to write compound sentences. A complex sentence is built using an independent clause, or main idea, and a dependent clause. A dependent clause needs to be connected to the main idea for it to make sense. Dependent clauses are used to add extra detail to sentences. Complex sentences are linked using subordinating conjunctions. Examples of subordinating conjunctions include when, while, after, or if. There are some examples of complex sentences on screen. Let's look at one of these. In the sentence, we went inside when it started to rain. The first clause, we went inside, makes sense on its own. It is an independent clause. The second part of the sentence, when it started to rain, is a dependent clause. It uses the subordinating conjunction when. Complex sentences can also be swapped around. For example, we went inside when it started to rain, can be swapped around to become, when it started to rain, we went inside. Here, the first part of the sentence, when it started to rain, is the dependent clause. It doesn't make sense on its own. It needs the main idea to complete the sentence. Notice that, when the subordinating conjunction is at the start of the sentence, a comma is needed after the first clause. Let's have a go. Try writing a simple sentence, a compound sentence, and a complex sentence. Your sentences can be about a topic of your choosing. Use the conjunctions on the screen to help you. Pause the video while you have a go, then press play when you're ready to continue. On screen are a few examples of simple, compound, and complex sentences. If you'd like to check your sentences, you could ask your tutor or another learner to look at them with you. You should try to use complex sentences throughout your writing in your exam to get full marks. Let's move on to paragraphs. Paragraphs are groups of sentences that help separate different ideas in texts. This makes the writing clearer for the reader. Paragraphs can be shown in two ways. By using an indent, which is a small space before the first word, or by leaving an empty line between paragraphs. In this example, we can see that the writer has left an empty line when starting a new paragraph. Each paragraph should start with a main idea. This is a sentence that tells the reader what the paragraph is about. The sentences that follow should add more information that helps to explain or expand on the main idea. There isn't a set number of sentences needed in a paragraph, but you should aim for at least 3. When you start a new idea, you should start a new paragraph. In this example, we can pick out the main idea of each paragraph. The first paragraph explains what a birdhouse is. The following details point out where you might see a birdhouse, which is helpful in case someone is unsure where they are found. The second paragraph tells you what materials you need to build the birdhouse, like wood, followed by some details that tell you the wood needs to be both light and strong. The third paragraph gives instructions on how to put the birdhouse together. This has a few supporting details. For example, it tells you the front of the birdhouse needs a hole. It then explains that this is so the birds can get in and out. Read the last paragraph. What do you think the main idea is? Pause the video while you have a go, then press play when you're ready to continue. The last paragraph focuses on placing the birdhouse. It also gives some details to make the birdhouse more welcoming, such as adding twigs or scraps of fabric. Now it's your turn. Write an article reviewing the last film you watched. You should include what the film was about, your favorite part, and whether you would recommend the film. Start a new line or use an indent to show your paragraphs. You should also try to use some complex sentences. Remember to give your article a title. Pause the video while you write your article, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's take a look at an example response. The writer has used 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph tells you about the main character. It also tells us she found a garden. The second paragraph leads on from this and tells you more about the garden, including why her uncle has locked the door, and what Mary decides to do with the garden. The third paragraph outlines the writer's favorite moment, along with an explanation of why they like it. Finally, the fourth paragraph tells us whether they would recommend the film, along with reasons why. It is clear where the writer has used new paragraphs because they have missed a line to break up the text. They have also included complex sentences, such as, with her new friends, Mary is determined to get into the garden and bring it back to life. And when Dickon gives her the tools, she realizes that she is not alone. It's time to check your work. Have you included more than one paragraph? Does each paragraph have one main idea? Is the main idea supported by adding sentences that provide more detail? Is each new paragraph indicated by a new line or indent? Have you used complex sentences consistently? Simply put, have you used at least 4 complex sentences correctly? Let's recap what you've learned in this video. You should now be able to understand the difference between simple, compound, and complex sentences, use complex sentences consistently, and use paragraphs accurately. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.